Hello viewers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we have something special to show to you guys. I'm with my colleague here, Engineer Dan. Okay, we have this special camera here, TIOC. So we'll be seeing how to unbox this camera, how to set up this camera and see different features that this TIOC camera have. It's a special camera from Dahua Technology. Okay, like I said, this is a 3-in-1 camera, TIOC camera. It has different features, and my colleague is going to say more about the full color Wesense and active deterrence. Then we'll continue. Over to you.
Okay, now we say the TIOC is a 3-in-1 camera, which is full color. The full color, which means 24 hours we are getting the original picture quality of our video feed. That's in color mode, no IR or night vision mode. Now we also have the Wesense, in other words, artificial intelligence, telling us that the camera has a brain of its own. It functions and can detect which object is human, which object is a vehicle or an animal. It differentiates between those objects it's discovered. And also the active deterrence. Active deterrence is a form of detecting tripwire or intrusion of humans or any other object you don't want at a particular position. Like when we say tripwire, when you draw a line for an intrusion position, you don't want an object to cross that position. Once that object crosses that position, an alarm triggers. That's the intrusion detection. There are other features which is also done here, whereby you can send out alarm signals, get in alarm signals, and all those ones. We are going to treat those features here with you.
Okay, so this camera, remember, it has an encoding device for it, that is an NVR. Okay, but for this video we're going to be using our system to configure this camera. Then we'll now slot it to the DVR to see some of those functions. Okay, so I'll be unboxing this camera. Okay, this is the almighty TIOC camera. Like I said, this is a very nice technology from Dahua. They really did well in this camera. Okay, so it came with a cover. So this particular covers here prevents water from or moisture from entering this particular pot. I'll have the Allen key for adjustments. You can adjust the neck and adjust the positions. Also, it came with now this is just for mounting it, whether you're mounting it on the wall or anywhere, just for you to use it to mark out the points where you can screw on the wall. And also the manuals here. I'll also have the screw and the fisher peg. Okay, so like I said, we'll be using our system to configure this. Now my colleague is going to talk on these ports here, and we'll continue.
Okay, here we have some wire connections and some ports. We have our AV ports here, female head, which is the audio in and the audio out. This is the audio in and this is the audio out. The audio in takes in voice and the audio out brings out voice. That's, you can connect the audio out to a speaker or an output display unit. Now the audio in, you need an input unit like a mic. Now these other wire strings here are alarm wires. We have the alarm in, which is the brown and green, and the alarm out, which is the blue and gray color. The alarm out gives out alarm, sends signals for giving out an alarm, while the alarm in sends in signal for alarm to the camera. Now this alarm out is either connected to an alarm buzzer, something like this, or a 24 volts alarm system. But this alarm out brings out 12 volts signals. The 12 volt signal, in order for us to amplify it to 24 volts for an alarm sounder, we'll have to connect it to a relay system, then send an extra 24 volts power to power alarm. Now we also have our Ethernet port. This is a PoE Ethernet port. There are some IP cameras you will see their Ethernet ports are not PoE enabled, but this is PoE enabled. Means you can send power to the camera via this port. We also have our power port in case you are making use of a non-PoE switch. You can use a 12 volt 1 amp adapter to power this. So that's what we are going to make use of today, because we don't have a PoE switch here. So we're going to make use of a 12 volt 1 amp adapter to power this camera.
Okay, like you said, we're going to use an adapter to power on this camera. Okay, like you already explained this is a PoE port which we are supposed to connect directly to our switch or maybe our NVR. Okay, but in this case, we're just going to be collecting feed from this particular port using our Ethernet cable, and we'll be powering the camera separately instead of using a PoE switch or NVR. We'll be powering the camera separately using a 12 volt adapter. So, like I said, after you have plugged all this, we'll be powering the camera using this adapter. Okay, so here we'll plug it to power. Okay, the camera is on. Then this part, now there are two ways you can do this. Okay, we can either connect it directly to the system, or we'll connect it to a router. This is a MiFi, but we're going to be using it. We'll connect it to this network and make sure our system is on the same network with this. They will now log in with the IP address of this camera wirelessly to the system. I don't know if we're together. Like I said, you can connect this directly to your system, or you create a LAN. So what we're trying to do now is to create a LAN, connecting the camera to this router, then connecting our system wirelessly to this router, then using the IP address of this camera to connect to log into this camera, then configure the camera on our system. So also this camera has a output speaker here, so where it sounds alarm, and also it has some let's open this. So IP cameras are standalone, they have their own encoding capability on them, unlike analog cameras. Okay, so it has a place for memory card, so you don't really need DVR for this camera to function, DVR or NVR for it to function. No, it has a place for memory card, so you can just slot in a memory card here and allow all your records on this camera to be recorded inside. Also, it has a reset button. Maybe all your settings you don't want it again, you can reset it to default settings. Right? And like I said, it has output for its alarm. So when it triggers, we're going to do the configuration. When it triggers an alarm, or when maybe when we set an intrusion on it and someone crossed that line or strict line, someone crossed the line, it triggers an alarm and it sounds out here. Okay, after our connection, now we're using cable. So from our camera to the system, we're using we're connecting the camera directly to the system using the cable. So the first thing you need to know is the IP address of the camera. So remember, Dahua default technologies uses 192.168.1.108. So this TIOC camera, the default IP address is 192.168.1.108. So the first thing we need to do is to change our system IP address to be on the same class, on the same network with the camera. So that's the first thing I'm going to do now. So come to your network, Ethernet, you're using cable. Okay, my system IP address is already on the same network. So mine here is 1.105. The TIOC camera is 1.108. So this is fine. This will work. Okay, close, close, close. So the next thing is to open our search engine and type in the IP address.
We are going to make use of the Internet Explorer. Reason being that Internet Explorer has already installed certificates for Dahua and most of these uh, surveillance cameras certificate installed it by default. You don't need to go and download it and install it to start viewing your camera feeds. But Chrome, Firefox, and the other web browsers, for you to access their view, you need to download the certificate for that particular device. And most of the time, it refuses to install in those browser. So our default browser we're going to make use of is going to be the Internet Explorer because it is already set up for this particular purpose.
Okay, so I'm going to be putting the IP address of the camera, which is 192.168.1.108. Okay, enter.
Okay. Now, as you can see, the page is open. Now, for you to see this page is to tell you that this is a new device. It is an uninitialized device. If by chance you input the IP address and it doesn't open or it shows you to enter username and password, then you should know that the device has already been initialized. You need to get the details of the reason to log in into. But this um, interface now is telling us, oh, we need to set up our own setting at afresh so that we can take control of our camera before going to the main page of our camera. Anything other than this, it is an already used device. So
Okay, remember also, I said that every technology has their own toolkit for configuration of their IP cameras. Okay, now Dahua has
the IP config tool,
IP.
the
So now remember, we can still configure this camera using the IP config tool for Dahua. Then now use our DVR, our NVR, sorry, to view the camera. But like I said, we are just doing this configuration using our system directly. So this is the initial page we are seeing. So first of all, we're going to choose our region. We're going to use Nigeria because we are in Nigeria. So Nigeria, okay.
the language is English. That the video standard we are going to make use of is PAL. Reason being that's the standard for video in Nigeria and most part of West Africa and also the UK. The reason is that America make use of NTSC. As you can see, they set up the two standards. So based on your region and your location, you can decide to choose your video standard to match up with your output display. That's
Okay, so next we'll be going next, and this is a certificate. You know, we always read this. I don't think anybody used to read.
some of us we just bypass.
So all those things, all these terms and policies, it's very necessary you read it. But I believe most people don't really read it. They just agree and go to next. So we are going to next now. So and this is this next page is the time zone. So we're going to automatically sync this time to match with our system time. Okay, so you can set it manually or this camera has this provision here.
Yeah, it was
So
already told us it will be if you sync with it, it should be modified to match with our listing.
so I'm going to sync on it, and this is my system time 3:04 p.m. So which is at 15:04. So one is 12 hours running 12 hour, one is running 24 hours. So next, so this is
the device initialization where you can input the
Password.
login details
Now
for
by
this
default,
camera.
our username is admin.
Then the password is not set, so I'm going to set a default password for it, and let's see. So I'm going to be using 1 2 3 4 5, then A B C. Okay, confirm 1 2 3 4 5 A B C. So email.
Check our email.
Email is important for resetting of password, but for this tutorial, we are not going to be using this email. Okay, device initialization completed. So we have this page again.
Now, this page is called P2P. That's this is where you can connect, view your device with your mobile phone or your tablet. That's your smart devices. Now, this to tell you that this device can work as a standalone device. Standalone meaning you don't need an MVR, a DVR, a server somewhere that can control this camera. You just need the smart device and you need a network, an internet access to be precise. Now, that's why they made provision for the Ethernet port for the device. You just connect it to a network via Ethernet cable, then you power up your device.
Okay.
Once there's internet access, you scan the QR code there with the application, which is the DMSS for Dahua.
Okay, and if you remember initial, I showed you guys the memory card part on the camera, so that's for the storage. Okay, so
And
that
you
means
can also make use of the FTP server.
Okay, now I'm talking about the FTP server. I've already done a video on that, how to create a local FTP server. So you can check out the video and see how to create an FTP server and store your footage on it. So I'm going to go to next, and this is auto update. Now auto update is to automatically update new firmwares, new features of this particular camera. So once you check auto update, any new feature that is being upgraded on the camera will automatically be initialized on the camera. All right, save. Okay, now this is the login page of this. So remember, we set up login details when we are configuring. So the initial username is admin, and our password is 12345 A B C. So login. So let's wait for the device to come up. All right, so this is the device, this is us. So this is the device, this is us. Okay, we're going to be seeing some features here. Okay, we have this as the relay output, we have this as the warning light. Okay, so I just turned it on. That's the warning light. Then we'll have the alarm. So once I click on it, so that is the alarm. So this is manually, I triggered it manually. This is for snapshots, and this is for the audio. Now we are going to see the configuration part, which will show you guys how you can automatically set up these alarms, something like IVS intrusion and strip line, so that whenever someone crosses that line, you should trigger alarm. Okay, maybe you have a particular spot you don't want people to be going there, so you can configure a strip line there, or maybe an intrusion, and set it up that whenever someone crosses there, and set the period, what time you want that particular event to occur. So once you do that, once a human being or maybe a vehicle, depending on what you set, crosses that particular intrusion line or strip line, it will trigger this alarm. Okay, so let's go. This is just the interface. We have the live, the playback if you have any storage on it, and this is for the settings where we can do different settings, and this is for the alarm options. Okay, and if you want to log out of the camera, we'll log out. Our next section will be the configuration section. So stay tuned.